VFW, and we are here to clear the way for veterans and their families. When they've fallen on hard times or need help with their VA claim or want to better themselves through education, we stand with them. Today, we reflect on a year of hard work and record-breaking growth for the VFW, and we renew our determination to lead the charge for veterans, both at home and on Capitol Hill. This year, Brian Duffy made history as the first Desert Storm veteran to be sworn in as Commander-in-Chief of the VFW. He called on our ranks to clear the way and pay it forward for every generation who raises their right hand and takes the oath very few have taken, to put community and nation above self, and to reflect on how the VFW can best ensure that American heroes receive the care and honor they have earned through their service.
That the VFW is an organization that has always been rooted in service to others, that we are an organization of doers, and we are an organization comprised of patriots who returned home from their wars and conflicts as better, more compassionate, more confident human beings.
We took up Commander Duffy's rally cry to clear the way by celebrating many firsts, including the appointment of Deborah Anderson as the first female VFW Quartermaster General, creating the VFW Foundation Community Service Grant so that posts and auxiliaries can even better serve their communities, celebrating when Gina Marie Doherty became Rhode Island's first female VFW State Commander, and her husband Stephen Doherty became the VFW Auxiliary's first ever male department president, opening a new post in Australia and making plans for a post in Ireland, and launching a brand new mobile app, putting the power of the nation's largest organization of combat veterans directly into users' hands. Since the VA debacle that exposed corruption and neglect in the system, the VFW has worked alongside the VA to identify problems, fix what is broken, and provide veterans with a healthcare solution that meets their needs. We supported the VA Accountability First Act of 2017 to support efforts to hold VA wrongdoers accountable and thus restore veterans' faith in their healthcare system. Released our CARE 2017, a report evaluating veterans' healthcare to continue to evaluate the impact of the Veterans Choice Program, which was enacted in 2014 in response to the VA's crisis in access to care, and submitted testimony to the United States House of Representatives on ways the VA can improve recruitment and retention of high-quality healthcare professionals, as well as the VFW's thoughts on the Commission on CARE's final report. Saluted the confirmation of Dr. David Shulkin as the new Secretary of Veterans Affairs. In addition to VA improvements, we set our sights on several other vital initiatives. We collaborated with other leading VSOs to create the Independent Budget Veterans Agenda for the 115th Congress, urged Congress to rescind the new tax on troops, which charges veterans twice as much to access their GI benefits based on rates proposed in the post-9/11 GI Bill, pledged full support for the Global War on Terror Memorial Act, which would allow for the construction of a memorial to honor the nearly 2.8 million service members who have shouldered the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, and stood up to the Department of Defense when it forced California Army National Guard soldiers to repay decade-old re-enlistment bonuses. But at the end of the day, our number one priority is to end sequestration once and for all.
And just very briefly, what would your top priority be?
Sequestration, 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 sequestration.
Testifying at a joint hearing of the Senate and House Veterans Affairs Committees, Brian Duffy explained that despite ongoing conflicts and the rise in new threats since the 112th Congress created sequestration in 2011, America's service members continue to operate under a budget axe. We will continue to call for an end to this outdated, unjust policy. We also cleared the way by being there for our veterans facing mental health issues. We partnered with like-minded organizations in the fight to change the stigma surrounding mental health. We launched our mental wellness campaign in September to promote awareness and education around issues like PTSD and veteran suicide. We also launched the inaugural A Day to Change Direction in October, on which VFW posts and auxiliaries hosted activities in their local communities to create awareness of the 5 signs of emotional suffering, testified on our ongoing concerns of the Veterans Crisis Line, as well as our views on how to prevent veteran suicides, created the VFW SVA Mental Health Stand 2 grant in support of our commitment to student veterans. We were also there for those facing dire financial issues. When ITT Technical Institute unexpectedly closed 130 campuses across the country, causing financial strain and loss of benefits, we provided funds so veterans and service members like U.S. Army Sergeant Mingo McCall could pay his electricity and car insurance bills. We extended the same opportunity for assistance to each of the nearly 3 dozen student veterans who once attended West Tech College, a now defunct for-profit vocational school in Southern California. And we exceeded over $1.5 million in financial grants that have so far supported nearly 800 military service members and their families in this year alone. And thanks to the patriotic companies that have made a commitment to being there for our nation's defenders, VFW military and troop support programs had a record-breaking year. This year marks 10 years since we first teamed up with Sport Clips and Burger King to further serve veterans. Through programs such as Unmet Needs and the Help a Hero Scholarship, thousands of veterans and families have received our support when they needed it most. Sport Clips donated a record $1 million to the VFW to support its Help a Hero scholarships for U.S. service members and veterans. To date, more than 700 have been presented to active duty service members and veterans who wish to better themselves through continuing education. This brings their total donations to over $5 million. Burger King franchises continued to raise funds for the Unmet Needs program throughout November by encouraging patrons to donate $1 or more to the program at checkout. To date, Burger King has donated over $4.3 million to the VFW Unmet Needs program. Our members mobilized in force on Armed Forces Day to show their appreciation and thank BK franchises for their efforts. Truly, our members have gone above and beyond as they work toward impressive educational and professional goals while being active participants in their communities. 6 VFW member-owned companies received national recognition from Forbes magazine's profile on the top 25 veteran-founded startups in America. We opened Post 12158 on the campus of Northeastern University. The new post, just the second in the nation run by student veterans on a college campus, will focus on providing solutions to veterans facing housing, education, and employment challenges. We sponsored the 2017 Student Veteran Fellowship class at the VFW Legislative Conference. These student leaders met with their members of Congress, received briefings on ongoing federal policy initiatives, and delivered research to their congressional delegations. Since then, one Fellows research project is gaining traction and has been passed by the U.S. House of Representatives. When passed by the Senate, this will mark the first legislative fellow to have their bill made into a law. Also, in the past year, we helped with cleanup and recovery efforts and helped to rebuild after historic flooding killed 23 people and destroyed many small towns in West Virginia. Joined a record crowd for the VFW-sponsored Bataan Memorial Death March at White Sands Missile Range. Donated $100,000 in support of the World War I Centennial Commission and supported events both at home and abroad. Partnered with new companies like Garmin and Military Tea Times to offer VFW members new and innovative member benefits, and awarded $3.3 million in scholarships and educational incentives to middle and high school students through our Voice of Democracy and Patriots Pen essay competitions. Voice of Democracy Grand Prize winner Savannah Whitman of California was awarded a $30,000 college scholarship, while Patriots Pen winner Lindy Compton of Kentucky received a $5,000 cash reward. Both young ladies took an all-expense-paid trip to D.C., where they were recognized at the 2017 VFW Legislative Conference.
I must be that voice of democracy that reminds my friends, teaches my children, and speaks to the world that our nation stands tall because we stand on the shoulders of giants, men and women who lived a life of sacrifice and service to the greatest nation.
We have and will continue to clear the way for these brave men and women. Last year, our nationwide network of service officers helped veterans recover nearly $7.2 billion in earned compensation and benefits from the VA. We've broken records and furthered our resolve to lead the charge for veterans over the past year, both throughout our communities and on Capitol Hill. But our work is far from finished. We will continue looking to the future, both for our veterans and our esteemed organization. We will continue to fight for those who selflessly fought to protect the freedoms we hold dear. We are the veterans of foreign wars, and no one does more for veterans.